we have covered some distance in understanding the very nature of free and open source software. We are entering into a very interesting phase where we are trying to understand what people are saying on the other side of the fence. Though I do not like very much using the words like such as fence, because that may send out a kind of negative signal. But it should be understood that we may have our own limitations while we are studying this vast phenomena. Since at least I am personally committed to this whole movement, therefore there may be shortcoming in my own understanding on what is happening in this movement. Therefore, at times it may be good to have an outsider perspective about what is happening here. The book which we are referring has done a great service to us because it has compiled a set of articles from some great personalities who I won't say have criticized but have analyzed the aspect of free and open source software from a different perspective. Such kind of openness and informed debate I feel is necessary. And this whole thing is not new to us. As I am fond of recalling, Krishna in Bhagavad Gita said there are three ways of acquiring knowledge. One of the ways he says is Pariprashna, Tadvidhi Pariprashna. That is, you can acquire knowledge by questioning, that is debate. Debating has been one of the earliest forms of learning. But our debate should not end up like the same debate for the sake of debating. No. There should be informed debate. There is every chance of a debate coming down to a level of chaotic exchange of words. Unlike that, I feel this kind of debate which we are starting up, I mean there is no concept of winner, loser or anything here, no points being scored by one side, other side, nothing like that, but a free exchange of information. What lends credibility to this entire debate is the fact that the people who are forwarding the ideas are well-known names in the industry. They lend credibility to the debate. Otherwise, what will happen is, any time you open up this free software kind of a debate, we will hear the usual arguments. That is, if everybody writes free software, won't the programmers die of hunger? Such kind of arguments will lead us nowhere. That is not the kind of debate we should be having. We should have some kind of informed, enlightened debate. We are entering into that phase. The Unit 3 in my course is reserved for such kind of debate. I plan to spend a few hours from today onwards analyzing the flaws phenomena from both the sides. According to the highest principles of this domain, we have to first of all understand clearly what the other party is trying to say. In their absence, I thought we should be more responsible. We should not dilute their arguments and simply because they are not present here, start up giving some very powerful counter arguments and try to ridicule. For that very reason, I have compiled their arguments and I have presented to all of you. so that you know exactly what are the kinds of points they are raising, so that when we build our counter arguments, we have to be very sure and precise regarding what we are saying. All these people, whoever have presented some views, have highest regards to free and open source software. They are not at all claiming that non-free software is better than free software or things like that. They are not. In fact, one of the editors of this book which we are referring, whose article also appears in this particular unit, the guy Brian Fitzgerald, he makes a very passionate appeal at the end of his argument that he hopes and prays that free software will live up to its promises. That means everyone here wants FOSS to succeed, and they understand that there may be some shortcomings here and there, and they are raising those points so that the whole movement as such gets a chance to understand its limitation and then grow. I feel we should see all these things in that aspect and not see all these people as some kind of parties on the other side. We versus they, that kind of thing should not happen. Because I see that happening every time. Very recently I was reading an article by a very famous literary figure from Kannada. He was arguing for open source software, nothing wrong with that. But the argument after a point of time becomes some kind of unbearable even for guys like this. One of the famous mascot for people who want to fight for open source software is Abdul Kalam. People will bring in Abdul Kalam in some way into this debate. But how should we bring in Abdul Kalam as a person? I mean, in that particular article, the author was trying to argue that, see, even Abdul Kalam did not give an audience to Bill Gates when he visited India because he belongs to proprietary software kind of camp. I don't think that's a right kind of idea that we have to propagate. Bringing personalities to the debate makes the issue irrelevant. That should not happen. For example, yes, I do know that a CEO of a very powerful company equated free software with cancer. Yes, many people quote it. Or one more very famous personality in the IT industry equated free software with communalism. Saying this, what you are doing is plain and simple, it is what Karl Marx and others have said, it's pure communist principles. And when you are doing such kind of comparison, when you try to equate RMS with Karl Marx, you are missing the whole point. And one more problem I feel people are having in such kind of debates is that they do not understand that free software at the end of the day is a matter of ideology and principles. Yes, technology is important. I am not saying that technology is not at all important here. After all, this is a movement which is fueled by the need for a better technology. Yes. But is better technology the only way to weigh free software? I mean, should the entire debate lie on technical tests? There are people who say, let's forget all these debates, let's have a plain and simple test. Let us test proprietary software, let us test free software. Whatever is the framework you accept. Whichever which is the winner. I mean, I don't think the issue is that simple. In fact, such attempts did happen. One such attempt was what is today called as the first paper. If you can search in the internet, first paper, F-U-Z-Z, first. I am not able to recall the exact name of the university where this test happened. In one of the universities, this happened in 1990. That was revised in 1995. if you have learned testing, software testing, you may have come across this word, fuzz testing. That is randomly selecting some inputs from the domain and then testing the software against them. Unlike some kind of testing where you deliberately choose the input variables, for example boundary testing, there you deliberately choose your input, right? Here you are not doing that. You are randomly selecting some input from the domain and testing the software against them. Somewhere you can call this as the ultimate stress testing for the software. Can the software withstand such tests was the question. Irrespective of what the result came. I mean, the result came that GNU Linux kind of system is actually better. The test result said when this kind of test is introduced, GNU Linux system better. It performed better than the other systems. But for me, the result is very irrelevant. I mean, had GNU Linux system failed in that test, my commitment to the free software movement would not have come down. For me, just because free software is more reliable, more efficient, I am not attracted to free software just because of that. I mean, if the issue is that simple, then there would have been many alternate approaches to create better software. This is not at all about better software. We are not at all saying that our software is better. I don't prescribe GNU Linux to someone because it is better than proprietary software. I am not doing that. Then the questions of what is better, how to test better software and all will come. I am not at all bothered. For example, as a committed user of GNU Linux, I know I may not be able to do something which the users of proprietary software will do. I know that very well. But that's okay. For me, what is more important is my commitment to the movement. I think only people who are committed to the movement in a long run will give some contribution, other than people who choose this kind of usage for technical purposes. Why I am giving all this long introduction? Because from now onwards, I will don the role of devil's advocate. That is, I will stand and speak the views proposed by these people so that we completely understand how people can look at free and open source software from the other side. I have already started my arguments from the last class. First level of arguments I have already proposed. My first arguments are over. One of the good things to happen to the movement in the recent years is the arrival of Carl Mitchell into the movement. Carl Mitchell is a known scholar in the area of philosophy of technology. He has written a immensely readable book on this topic, philosophy of technology. And recently, he has entered into the free software domain and has written a very interesting article laying the philosophical foundations for free software. We had a problem in free software. Yes, there is RMS, who is our ultimate philosopher, who has given us all these principles. But then, how do we write the legacy of free software? That is the question. Any movement which does not have strong philosophical fundamentals will not survive long. You see, any religion which has survived till today, all those religions have survived not because of certain practices, but because of the philosophy in which they have been grounded. Any nation which has been formed on the basis of sound philosophy have remained strong. Countries which have formed on the basis of some other notions have not survived. So a sound philosophical foundation is a must. And thankfully, in the past 1-2 years, after Carl Mitchell became active, we have been getting some good foundation. I am very hopeful and I am looking forward for his contributions even more. We need more people like Carl Mitchell in this moment. Whatever arguments I had forwarded in my last class have been derived and influenced largely on his ideas. I have developed his ideas. In fact, whatever I have been speaking in this class from the classroom, all the ideas are dependent on someone else's idea. I don't claim that whatever I am speaking in the class is mine. Only the nonsense ideas have been mine. Anything sound and interesting, they are not mine. I had my own point to make, which I have not made. That is, I am tracing the roots of free software from Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, which I have not spoken, which I am reserving only for those people who are really interested in philosophy. I am trying to analyze the roots of free software from the works of the Vedic saints like Yajnavalkya, Shukla Yajurveda and all. I have not made it public in the class for obvious reasons. Anyway, what I am trying to say is that the sound philosophical foundation is necessary and that is happening. Now let us come to the other side. Let me, to the best of my abilities, try to propose whatever these guys are saying. Let's start with Robert Glass. See, each one of these persons, whoever I have listed here, they bring certain weightage. Robert Glass is a veteran contributor to software industry. He is a regular columnist in IEEE software and he is a big name. It is not that these people are unknown personalities. They have some solid contributions to software. Robert Glass is a regular contributor to IEEE, veteran software developer. Brian Fitzgerald is an editor of the book which we are referring to, a very known name in the risk engineering domain. David Bernas, of course, you may have heard his name in object orientation. He is the founding father of the principles of modularity and other things, which are the foundations for object orientation. Peter Newman, again a very big name in risk engineering, maintains the ACM list of software risks even today. Ross Anderson, a known figure in Cambridge, of course he was voted as the most influential person in Cambridge, known for his security engineering expertise. Scott Chisholm and Wayne Stock come from Software Engineering Institute, CME. And incidentally, Scott Chisholm is also editor of our. So what I am trying to say is that these are not fringe players, but these are people of some repute, not some repute, great repute. And when they are saying something, we should listen very carefully.